It is 12:45, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Commission on Chicago Landmarks. Our regular meeting is today, Thursday, January 13th, 2022. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. It's been a heck of a start. Hopefully this year we will be in person at some point. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for. I'll do the roll call of the commission members. After I call your name, if you could indicate that you can see and hear me, that would be great. And I will start with Vice Chair Commissioner Jekowitz.
Here, and I can see and hear you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cox.
Here, I can see you and hear you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burns.
Here, I can see and hear you.
Commissioner Hughes.
Present, I can see and hear you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Commissioner Osmond.
I can see and hear you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ponce.
I'm here and I can see you and hear you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Tolliver. You're on mute.
Present, I can hear and see.
Thank you, sir. And I am Ernie Wong, the chair of the commission, and I can hear and see all of you. So welcome. This is a wonderful new year, and hopefully I will not be making these statements too much longer. In 2020, Governor Pritzker signed Public Act 101-0640, making certain amendments to the Open Meetings Act so that we, along with other boards and commissions, can continue to host virtual meetings during this COVID-19 public health emergency, provided that certain conditions are met. One of those conditions is that I, as head of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks, determine that an in-person meeting of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks and its Permit Review Committee are not practical or prudent. I want to make sure our virtual meetings meets all the conditions of the Open Meetings Act as amended. Therefore, I'm making a determination pursuant to Section 7E2 of the Open Meetings Act, that an in-person meeting of this Commission in Chicago Landmarks and its Permit Review Committee is not practical or prudent. Similarly, I'm also making a determination pursuant to Section 7E5 that because of the disasters declared by the governor, it is unfeasible for at least one member of the Commission on Chicago Landmarks or its chief administrative officer or its chief legal officer to be physically present at the meeting place for either meeting. Pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Commission on Chicago Landmarks on June 4th, 2020, regarding the chairman's emergency rule-making powers, I issued emergency rules governing the conduct of remote public commission meetings and provisions for remote public participation, effective January 19th, 2021. These rules were posted on the Commission's website. In line with these emergency rules, today's regular commission meeting is a virtual meeting being simulcast to the general public via live streaming. Commission meetings have been held virtually since May of 2020. Meetings are structured to minimize the chances for technical difficulties. Members of the general public have been encouraged to submit written statements in advance of this meeting, and these have been posted on the Commission's website and are available for viewing during the virtual meeting at www.chicago.gov/CCL. Members of the public desiring to speak at today's meeting were required to register before the meeting, and verbal statements by the public for all agenda items will take place at the beginning of the meeting. Applicants and their representatives, as well as aldermen, were asked to contact staff if they desire to speak, and they'll be able to do so after the staff presentation on a specific project. One member of the general public signed up to speak as of the deadline of 12:45 p.m. on Tuesday, January 11th, and he was provided instructions regarding how to do so. I'd like to call upon him now. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Begin by stating your name and the association you represent, if any, for the record. One person signed up to speak about agenda item number 2, the DPT report for the Ludlow Typograph Company building. And that person is Ward Miller. Mr. Miller, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Commissioner and Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Ward Miller with Preservation Chicago. We at Preservation Chicago strongly support the Department of Planning and Development's report and the recommendation for the landmark designation of the Ludlow Typographic Company building located at 2028 to 2062 North Clybourne Avenue. The Ludlow Typographic Building, designed by noted Chicago architect Alfred Altschuler, and with additions by William Jones and Edward Nischke, extend from 1913 to 1948, and is a marvelous 3- and 4-story brick structure with limestone detailing, spanning a block of Clybourne Avenue and forming a marvelous historic street wall between Magnolia and Lakewood Avenues. The Ludlow's original architect, Alfred Altschuler, is also known for his many fine buildings, with several prominent structures being recognized and designated landmarks. These include such buildings as the former London Guarantee, an accident building now known as the London House Hotel at Michigan Avenue and Wacker Drive, the Florsheim Shoe Company building in the Avondale community, and the KAM Isaiah Israel Temple in the Hyde Park Kenwood community, among others. We at Preservation Chicago applaud Annexation LLC and their partnership, along with the architectural firm, for their commitment to preserve, restore, and repurpose this wonderful example of a historic warehouse building by Altschuler and with additions by Jones and Nischke. This is especially important as so much of the Clybourne corridor has been overrun with suburban-style strip mall developments, losing much of its historic fabric and street wall, and often disconnected from the street and sidewalks, which one would expect in a more friendly pedestrian developments. So this strip mall development really that we've seen up and down Clybourne are really an example of what many would consider flawed urban planning of the past. So this is a really wonderful project, a great example of what a revisioning of historic buildings can provide for a community, along with the high standards which should be embraced elsewhere along the Clybourne corridor. And as mentioned, this development and reuse project will preserve the historic Clybourne street wall as well. You know, we also wanted to mention, commissioners and Mr. Chairman, that this building was not included in the Chicago Historic Resources Survey, and we want to encourage a rethinking and a revisiting of that survey and an updating of that survey, which includes many buildings like this one and others that were just too new to be surveyed in the past. And we're here to help wherever we can assist. So we wanted to, again, offer our assistance and to all of you in the city in that pursuit. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful landmark designation.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. That is all of the members of the general public who've signed up to speak for the commission meeting. We'll now go through the agenda. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, our regular meeting of December 2nd, 2021. That has been included in the packages. I'd like to request a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Tolliver. Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner
Second,
Dickler.
Vice Chair Jackowitz. I will do a roll call on this. Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Osmond,
Yes.
Commissioner Ponce,
Yes.
and I also am voting yes. The motion carries unanimously. The second item on the agenda is the report from the Department of Planning and Development on the Ludlow Typograph Company building in the second ward. That location is 2028 to 2062 North Clybourne Avenue. And Commissioner Cox, the floor is yours, sir.
Excellent. Make sure. Mute. I'm good. Thank you, Chair. The Department of Planning and Development finds that the proposed landmark designation of the Ludlow Typograph Company building supports the city's overall planning goals for the surrounding Lincoln Park community area and is consistent with the city's governing policies and plans. Constructed initially in 1913 and expanded into the 1950s, the Ludlow building is part of the rich industrial history that characterizes the area along the North Branch of the Chicago River. Between 1918 and the 1970s, This utilitarian prairie school influenced commercial style manufacturing building housed the growing operations of the Ludlow Typograph Company, a preeminent manufacturer of printing equipment and nationally significant designer of new typefaces. The Ludlow building lies within the North Branch Industrial Corridor, which is a designated area with special land use provisions that support manufacturing, transportation, warehousing, and other industrial uses. In 2017, the city completed its nearly year-long collaborative review of the corridor, which resulted in the North Branch Framework Plan, part of the larger Industrial Corridor Modernization Initiative. The Framework Plan allows for a wider mix of land uses in the north sub-area portion of the corridor in which the Ludlow building lies. Specifically, this includes office, commercial, and residential uses. In addition, the Framework Plan identifies the Ludlow building as a character building that should be integrated into new development and reused as such buildings reflect the area's industrial past. This is precisely the goal of the proposed planned development project that the building's current owners are undertaking to reuse the building for residential commercial use. To that end, DPD finds that the designation of the Ludlow building as a Chicago landmark supports the city's overall planning goals for the surrounding Lincoln Park community area and is consistent with the city's governing policies and plans. Thank you. That is our report.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Does the commission have any questions for Commissioner Cox or staff on this? And I understand that the developer, Mr. Farino, is here. Would you like to make a statement, sir?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. We're appreciative to be able to preserve this asset. We had done so adjacently up the street at 2071 North Southport, and are glad that we have the formal landmark designation and are excited to preserve the storied asset. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Does the commission have any questions of the applicant? And if not, this is a wonderful project. I'd like to request a motion to accept the department's report for the Ludlow Typography Company building and take the next step in the designation process to request consent from the property owner. Is there a motion?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Wong, I
Oh.
believe the Alderman's
Yes.
office is here.
I am so sorry.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello.
Mr. Pellerin.
Yes, thank you. Alderman Hopkins, I believe, needs to be promoted to panelist. He'd like to say a quick word.
Oh, great. Alderman.
Thank you so much.
Alderman, you there?
There we go.
Okay.
Thank
Looks
you for the promotion.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just want to say I'm in full support of this. We talked about this with the various community organizations years ago, long before there was any possibility of adaptive reuse, because the facility was still very much used by Annixter Foundation, and they do important work. They were a long-standing contributor to this neighborhood, and their work in the disability community is just beyond reproach, and it's something that the neighborhood valued for years. So we wanted to keep them here, but the building just didn't work any longer for their purposes. So when they started talking about the need to sell and relocate immediately, the neighbors said we need to preserve this building and we need to preserve the legacy of outstanding work by Annixter. This does all of that. So we're very excited about it. I commend the developers for their community-driven process, and I'm in full support of this, and I would hope this commission would be as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Alderman. Does the commission have any questions of Alderman Hopkins? Seeing none, Now I guess I'll ask for a motion to accept the department's report.
So moved, Commissioner Burns.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. Second.
Second it, Commissioner Hughes.
Thank you, Commissioner Hughes. I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Jekowitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Hausman,
Yes.
Commissioner Ponce,
Yes.
Commissioner Tolliver,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, folks. This is a great project. Looking forward to seeing that the impact on Clybourne.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the preliminary decision on permit application for the demolition pursuant to 2-120-740 through 2-120-825 of the municipal code. This is in the Fulton Randolph Market District. The property located at 210 North Aberdeen in the 27th Ward. And Emily, I think you have this one.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
So the PRC reviewed the proposed partial demolition as part of the pre-permit review of a larger development at its June 3rd, 2021 meeting. The PRC's recommendations to allow the partial demolition of 210 to 218 North Aberdeen and the PRC approval letter were included in your packets. Since the PRC meeting, the applicant has applied for a permit, and this matter is in front of the commission for a vote to approve the partial demolition of the building with retention of the front facade and a number of other elements, and send to City Council for final approval. So this is kind of a strange one. You might remember this. This property is located near the west edge of the district and was originally constructed in 1904 as the Arthur Harris Building, which is a manufacturer of brass and copper goods. The front section of the building, which is shown in blue on the above image and yellow on the below, will be retained as part of the larger development. The applicant will also retain approximately 15 feet of the south elevation of the building and the original roof trusses. The applicant is proposing to demolish the rear non-historic western half of the Arthur Harris Building and the existing two-story cross gable, and reintroduce approximately 31 feet of the one-story single gable roof that was original to the building for an overall roof length of 90 feet. I also wanted to note that the rear red section in the bottom image is outside of the district boundary. In addition to reintroducing the original single gable roof, the applicant is also proposing to return the front facade of the building to its original design based on original drawings. So as I previously mentioned, the work to the Arthur Harris Building is part of a larger mixed-use development that's almost entirely outside of the historic district, with approximately 414 residential apartments and 10,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor. So the Permit Review Committee recommends that the commission find that the partial demolition of the contributing building at 210 to 218 North Aberdeen, with the rehab of the front facade to be retained in place, will not be an adverse effect on the character of the district. We also recommend that you find the proposed partial demolition will not be an adverse effect on the district. And finally, recommend to the City Council approval of the proposed partial demolition of the building in accordance with Section 2-120-825 of the Municipal Code of Chicago, entitled Permits for Demolition of Landmarks, City Council Approval Required. Alderman Burnett is supportive of the proposal, and we've got the architects, project representatives, and the contractors that'll be doing the work, if you have any questions for them or me.
Thank you, Emily. Does the commission have any questions of Emily at this time? And seeing none, Mr. Esker, would you like to make a statement? Michael?
Aha.
There we go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. We really appreciate your support. We are, as Emily said, we work closely with DPD. Emily leading the charge, as well as Commissioner Cox and that side of things with the plan development that was also approved. And we appreciate your support, and we're here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Esker. Does the commission have any questions of Mr. Esker? I will note that this is quite the project. It seems like, and I guess I'll comment this to Mrs. Sorich. It's like surgery.
Very much so. Yeah, you're right, Commissioner. Very much so.
I'm like, wow.
But exciting. I mean, these trusses are gorgeous on the inside, and we're thrilled that we're going to be able to save them and integrate them within the final build.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful project. With that, if there are no other questions, I don't see anybody raising their hand. I'd like to call for a motion to accept the staff recommendation on the permit application for partial demolition on the property at 210 North Aberdeen Street. Is there a motion?
So moved by Commissioner Osmond.
Thank you, Commissioner Osmond. Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Ponce.
Thank you. I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Jekowitz.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Tolliver.
Yes.
And I also vote yes. It is another unanimous decision on this. Congratulations, folks. Go ahead with the surgery. And good luck to you all. This sounds
We'll need some anesthesia. Thank you.
all right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
The next project is the permit review committee reports. And I'd like to call in Vice Chair Jekowitz for the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Permit Review Committee reviewed 4 projects at its December 2nd, 2021 meeting. All 4 projects were approved with conditions. The report summarizing the scope of the proposed projects and the committee's decisions was included in your packets. This report is for your information and for the record.
Thank you. And Larry, you want to do the report?
Sure. For the month of December, staff reviewed 119 permit applications. 2 of these applications relate to projects reviewed by the Permit Review Committee. A total of 141 reviews were performed by staff. The average number of days to issue the approval or corrections was 3.2 days. Staff also reviewed 2 sign applications during that period.
Thank you, Larry. You might as well keep your camera on here, because before we adjourn today, I want to share the news that Larry, who's been with the Department of Planning and Development as a planner 4 with the Historic Preservation Division since 2006, for my time, will be leaving the permit staff. We wanted to express our sincere thanks for the incredible work he has done for the commission and the department. We'll miss your ability to simplify the most complex of projects into easily understood graphic representations and explanations, as well as your knack for adding a humorous zing to the proceedings. Would you like to say anything, sir? It's been a pleasure.
It certainly has. And, you know, when I came here from Highland Park, I couldn't have imagined the range of buildings and districts and sort of preservation problems that we would have to develop solutions for. And also the sheer scale of work and volume. And it wouldn't have been possible without my amazing coworkers. And I'm lucky to have met them and to work with them. And I will certainly miss them all and miss this job as well. Although I'm not going too far, I'm going to be going to work for an engineering company that's consulting with the CTA to provide historic research and documentation for the CTA. So I'll still be around, just in a different capacities. But thank you so much. And I just want to thank the commissioners for all the time and energy that they donate to this, because it really would not be possible without their guidance and leadership.
Well, congratulations, Larry. We look forward to seeing you doing reports, presenting things on behalf of the CTA as things come up.
That would be great.
We wish you well in your new endeavor, and
Thank you
look
so
forward
much.
to your success. If there is anybody else that would like to say anything, I'd like to request for a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
So move.
All right, Commissioner Tolliver. And a second?
Commissioner Osmond, this is my record here. Less than half an hour, never happened.
Well, no, actually there have been shorter ones, but we're getting close. This is a good way to start the new year. So I take it you're seconding that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned from today's meeting. And Commissioner Jackowitz, what time is up for review committee?
Let's say 1:20. Does that work?
All right, there you go.
All right.
Have at it and good luck. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Okay,
Well.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.